All right, heading into grade 12, we're going to pick some courses. Pretty exciting stuff for the class of 2025. One thing you're going to notice is that you have a lot of flexibility next year. You don't have many mandatory courses left for most of you. Just have to make sure you get your 18 credits, 5 of which have to be grade 12. And that's all been explained to you. So you are going to have some flexibility. And the question is, what do we do with that? What courses to choose? So I'm going to talk to you about some things that you need to consider when picking your courses for next year. You need to pay attention to what you're going to need for whatever comes after high school. So you have to pay attention to post-secondary entrance requirements, whether you're headed to university, community college, private college, or training programs. Might be apprenticeship for one of the skilled trades, or military, or even just the workforce. So we need to think about what comes after grade 12 so that we know what to take in grade 12. A couple other things to think about. You may want to take consideration for special programs here. For instance, a co-op or work experience class to give you some experience in a certain field of work. You might want to take some tech or vocational courses to get some skills or to get apprenticeship hours. You can actually earn those in high school. You may want to take advantage of one of our French immersion certificate programs, either the certificate of immersion or the certificate of proficiency by doing your interview in grade 12, or the FIT certificate, the focus on information technology program that we have as well, which all those things can be great things for a resume. Other things to consider: interests and hobbies. Maybe there's a course that would just be interesting for you. You still get credit for it, and you don't have to pay to take a course if you want to learn a bit about building or fixing things, or a course on fashion technology. There are a lot of great courses here that you can't take elsewhere, or you'd have to pay to take elsewhere. You can learn how to do something really interesting while you're still in grade 12. You may want to consider transferable skills. Is there something I can learn here in high school that's going to help me in whatever I do? Maybe something like keyboarding class, typing. That's going to be useful in a variety of work environments, or post-secondary school. It's going to be really useful to be able to type. And another thing you want to consider is balance. So you want to be able to balance life with school. People who are well balanced are overall more mentally well and are typically happier. So although you may have some really stringent requirements for what you need to get into the next thing, you need to consider balancing that schedule with something that's going to lighten it up, give you some variety in the day, and maybe give your brain a bit of a break. So if you're planning to attend post-secondary training, you need to look at their admission requirements, because the requirements to get into a program are not the same as the requirements to graduate from high school. Just because you've met the graduation requirements doesn't mean you necessarily have what it takes to get into another program, especially a lot of university programs, but also some college and vocational programs. So you need to look at the program at the specific school you're going to, and see what each program requires, and make sure you've got that chosen for next year. And if you need help with that, certainly consult your school counselor. Just so you know as well, grade 11 and 12 grades are used by post-secondary institutions when they're choosing to accept you or not. So it doesn't matter what semester you have. There's a note there on the PowerPoint. A lot of people worry about English. Well, I need to apply during first semester for your university, perhaps, and I don't have my grade 12 English until second semester. How do I apply? That's okay. Your transcript will show what you're enrolled in and that you've chosen the correct level. So you just need to make sure that you have it chosen. But that's what they're looking at to decide whether to admit you, is your grade 11 and 12 grades on your transcript. Predominantly grade 12. As I said before, the requirements are vastly different depending on the school and depending on each program within that school. So the requirements for college are very different than university, and that's different from apprenticeship, military, workplace options as well. So talk to your counselor if you're still trying to weigh some of those things out. All right, time for a responsibility check. You need to know that it is your responsibility to make sure you have the credits needed for graduation. We'll try and help you with that. But ultimately, it comes down to you to make sure that you've chosen the things that you need and also what you need for post-secondary programs. We can't possibly know where each one of you is headed. So you need to make sure you've done the research, find out what they need, and then we can plan and get those courses into your schedule to make sure you have them. When you're choosing courses, you need to be careful about that. Think about what you're taking. Think about the balance. Think about the requirements. And once we get that list of courses selected from students, that's how we make our timetable. So if there's something you need to have, make sure you choose it. We once in a while get students say, I really needed something, but they never chose it in the first place. And if people don't choose it, we won't run it. So if there's something you need, make sure you put it on your list of selections. If you are planning on taking Co-op 12.0, there is a course application for that, whether you're taking the 1, 2, or 3 period co-op, or as it's now called, the 4 credit, 8 credit, or 12 credit hour. Any of those require an application. You can pick one of those up in the guidance office and just make sure that you have that filled in and submitted before the due date, which would be right on the top of the page. So remember, talk to your guardians, those people in your life that can give you some advice, that know you well, know what you're good at. Talk to your teachers as well. They may be able to give you some insight as to what level you might want to choose or what courses might be well suited to you. And absolutely come talk to your school counselor. We can talk about options for post-secondary. We can talk about what things you need to get into them and lots of things pertaining to post-secondary plans. So don't hesitate to come on down and book an appointment with us. We are on duty every lunch hour. You can book appointments anytime with Harmony at the main desk there. So just come on in and tell her you need to speak with your guidance counselor and she can book an appointment with you. We'd love to talk about whatever you need. We're also going to have an information session for parents after the March break on that first Wednesday back. That's March 13th in the TMT. I think around 6 o'clock, details to follow. We've also invited representatives from local post-secondary institutions to come and hand out some information. They'll typically set up a booth and they'd love to chat with you if you have questions about getting into their programs. And then you'll have until the 26th of March to get your course selections entered in PowerSchool. But that'd be a good night for parents to come and ask questions about requirements and all those sorts of things. So what's next? Over the next few days, you're going to do your research. You're going to put some thought into what you want to take next year, what you need to take next year, and pick carefully. You may want to book an appointment, like I said, with your counselor. You're going to enter in PowerSchool. Don't forget to hit that submit button. You're going to enter your choices in there, and then you're going to show your teacher. So whatever teacher is showing you this video right now, you're going to show that teacher. They're responsible to make sure that everyone has got their selections made. Good luck.